Fellow brave warriors of Southern Cameroons and Bazonia, today is the 13th day of August in the year of our Lord 2018. This day, I bring to your knowledge and to your notice a very important letter I've received from Yaounde again. This is a second letter from a source you already all know, and this member of government says it is important for us to do the things that we must do to be able to secure our victory. This mail has come along with some two important attachments, as you will discover. But before I review the content of the letter I hold in my hands to everyone here, let me say these very important things concerning the upcoming events planned by the various frontline organizations of the struggle for the freedom and total independence of Southern Cameroons and Bazonia. I must point this out clearly that there are three events that are coming up over the next weekend. These three events are clearly segmented. These three events are clearly defined, and these three events have stands that are well known. First, let me point out the event of Saturday, which is the 18th of August 2018, is an event initiated and proposed by the interim government. That event, upon its proposal to the rest of the frontline organizations, we agreed and understood that it is important for that event to go ahead, and that the petitions that are going to be signed, that are being distributed for signature across the board, have been very well designed with the approval and tacit participation. I should even say they have mostly been designed by Comrade Bo Herbert, who is a spokesperson of Morisk. And this is an indication that the frontline organizations are supporting the IG so that it organizes the Saturday event successfully. That means it's proposed by the IG, but we have adopted and approved that event to go ahead, and we are giving technical support to the interim government. But the event of the 19th, which is the Sunday, the demonstration on Washington, is an event of all the frontline groups. It carries the stamp and signature of all the organizations, even every other organization involved in this struggle. It is very important to highlight this because we shouldn't get any kind of mix-up. That event of Sunday is a people's event. It's an event that is organized. The date is selected. The modalities are being worked out, and the mobilization is going to be a commonly shared affair by all the organizations. The importance of that event can no longer be overemphasized. We all have to be there, from all the nooks and crannies of the United States, even from Canada, from Mexico, from all the neighboring countries to the United States. We have to be there because you are not on the field to hold AK-47 to do self-defense, because you may not be at the microphone as a social activist to mobilize people in one way or the other, because you may not be one of those with so much money to contribute to all of those things. Coming out may be your own only and measured way of participation. Save this date and make sure that you are there on that day. And then the third event is the collaborative conference that is initiated by those who now fondly call the Canada Group. And so that event has been adopted by all the frontline movements. The interim government planned a similar event, but had to give it up because of the need for us to function as one body. Although all will hold in the United States of America, that particular event will be moderated and coordinated by the Canada Group. That is why all the frontline movements are urging you, those of you who have been contacted to contribute, to fund these two events, contribute to those running the Canada initiative, contribute to the IG organizing the other events in the United States of America, to make sure that all these events become very successful and enable us to march forward. For the event of the 19th, it is the event of all of the frontline groups, as I said, and that is why on that 19th, we are going to host a joint fundraising initiative. Contrary to what is in the minds of some people, that the money raised on that day is going to be shared out to the various groups to carry out activities on ground zero. That money is going to be spent by the collective unit because we have a specific issue that must be handled on ground zero. Because we are facing the challenge of elections in October, we are facing other challenges. There are a number of complaints that have come from the field, from ground zero, that need to be addressed, and we shall address this as a collective unit so that no single group will come and say the money that they gave to us had a mistake this way. No, that money is going to be spent collectively. That is why we are hosting that joint fundraising, to make sure we address these specific problems immediately and quickly so that everyone should see the results of that specific action on ground zero. I'm saying this because there have been a number of talks out there, and I've even seen in forums some release from the ARC that may give the impression that there is some infighting or whatsoever as far as these events are concerned. These events are clearly each defined. These events are clearly delimited, and these events each have scopes which must be respected. And let me bring this out, and it is very important for us to know. Anybody coming to these collaborative talks with the view to coming to play the group game should know that your ideas are dead on arrival. This is the time more than ever before for each and every one of us to avoid politicking. This is the time more than ever before for group politics to give way to the general and collective interest. This is the time more than ever before for each and every one of us to understand that the situation on ground zero calls for urgent attention, urgent action, and it calls for total focus, and it will require that to gain this kind of focus, we have to work together in synergy. This is why I will point out that if the ARC release is simply indicating that the ARC is not the initiator, not the convener, and is not actually actively taking part in ensuring the Saturday event, they may not totally be out of totally be out of the place. But if they're talking about a collaborative talk, there could be some piece of confusion. But I think all of those things are being sorted out, are being handled, and I want to call on all Southern Cameroonians to watch us out, watch each and every one out, watch our words, watch our body actions. We are going, beginning with myself, beginning with the consortium, we are going to be able to shout out on the rooftop whoever comes to these collaborative talks with games, because the people of Southern Cameroon have had enough, and enough of these games. Enough of these games. The time for us to speak with one voice, to face the enemy as one huge block, is now. No other time has ever been riper. So anyone who comes in to spew division again, anyone who comes in to play fast, anyone who comes with an idea to hijack, pack well and think twice. And now, on to this letter. Let me read this letter quickly because I don't intend this communication to be so long. I would definitely have to come back and talk a lot about that conference, the events of the weekend. Thank you very much. This letter, Monday, 13 August 2018. Dear Mr. Akuroh, I am writing to the people of Southern Cameroons again, through you, to express our satisfaction, my colleagues and I, with the way you all handled the last documents we sent out to you. I can say with so much accuracy that the Boya conference Mr. Moses Simon wanted to use the church to organize to clear the way for President Paul Biya to organize his elections in West Cameroon peacefully has now collapsed, because you all rose to the occasion and used his letter responsibly to achieve that. The conference may never be held again because the government's interest in it has been eroded. We are also happy that the ugly entanglement between our government and the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, and some members of the UN Security Council is now public news, and beyond your knowledge, the situation is being addressed with utmost attention at some levels where it matters so much on the world stage. Oh wow. This is how we intend to be part of this revolution. We will not relent until the reins of enslavement of our people are broken. Ever since our last interactions, The security services all over Cameroon have intensified their surveillance on us with the view to identifying who is behind the leaks, but we will not relent. We are in this together. It will be a mistake for you all out there to think that because we provided you information about attempts to intensify the Northwest-Southwest divide, that will end. No way. The Southwest elite held a recent meeting in the same light and came up with insinuations that the real perpetrators of this revolution are from the Northwest and only hire a few misguided Southwesterners to place in front to give the impression that it is a collective fight, only to make the Southwest the staging ground. They also pointed out that most of the villages being burnt in the Southwest region are mainly villages that are mostly occupied by people from the Northwest region. That is why, in distancing ourselves from the Anglophone conference planned for Buea, we have deliberately ignored Munzo Simon, the main initiator, and are focusing on Christian Cardinal Toumi and the Synod Clerk Reverend Babila Forchang because they are from the Northwest. You will see a lot of literature on this soon in the papers. That should not bother you. So you must keep forging ahead very, very relentlessly. I know for sure that the elite of the Northwest are also developing their own strategy to throw the struggle into discredit. One of us recently received automatic rifles through the Douala seaport to equip Ekema Patrick and his council police in Buea, while the others are headed for Bamenda to arm some youths to do the same thing. We are working to identify the focal points and pick up the names of most of the youths who agree to be used in this manner, and we shall communicate them to you. As the elections approach, take note that tension will be growing and the level of exactions will increase. I am certain you are already aware that an attack was stage managed at the residence of the Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic here in Yaounde, and today they claim it was carried out by Anglophones. There has been a plan for a while now to victimize Anglophones in the big cities, and so the attack claimed is in that light. That is why the meeting that the Minister of Defense is chairing today, Monday 13th of August, is capital. A lot more Anglophones in the military will be sent to the war front, and most will be killed by their colleagues, so that the blame will be on Anglophone insurgents. Francophone administrators will again be pulled out of the zone in big numbers and replaced by Anglophones, so that we should be killing ourselves. I pray that our people see this and determine how they go about their duties in the weeks ahead. We are excited to hear that you people are finally coming together to operate in one block. We are watching. Once we see sincerity in your pronouncements and actions, we shall determine how we contribute to the revolution going forward. You people must learn to be bonded together so strongly, because we may stop cooperating once we find out that you intend to continue with a common sense, not without a common sense of direction. Trust me, Mr. Akuroh, that we face annihilation as a people if we do not quickly put all our resources together. I am attaching to this letter two memos. One written by the Prime Minister, Head of Government, addressed to the President of the Republic after he received in audience the leader of the Facebook Incorporation delegation, Madame Aida Ndiaye, at his office in Yaounde last Friday, August 10, 2018. And the other written by the Director of Cabinet at the Prime Minister's office and addressed to the Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, bearing on a new contract signed on Friday, August 10, 2018, on behalf of the Cameroon government with another US-based lobby firm called Mercury Public Affairs to the tune of $100,000 monthly to fight us. The memos should tell you how the government intends to work with Facebook Incorporation and other international firms to break the revolution. See what use you make of the contents thereof. Stay courageous. This letter, already indicated, is addressed to me and by the members of government who are of Southern Cameroonians extraction, serving in the government of La République du Cameroon, that initiated the first letter and sent us a number of leaks. Right now, I have, therefore, in my hands the two memos that have been mentioned, and you've got their subject matters. this broadcast is too small for me to be able to bring up those memos. So I will return on Wednesday because the memos are even completely in French. I'll return on Wednesday, having taken time up and worked with other members of the consortium, with the executive, the caretaker executive of the consortium, so that we'll be able to see exactly how we arrange and bring the content of those memos out to you. And definitely, I'm going to be pleading that we should again make them completely published word verbatim to help our revolution. My country people then, which you talk be simple and clear. These ministers, we would even tell them, say, make the thing for resign the fastest possible. They indicate, say, time for them for leave, it be very close. But they watch for see how we go decide for unite, start work like one person, so that make it encourage them to, for no say they need to move, now for come join some stupid people them way, they no get a sense of direction, they don't know what side way they go. So I want to mention, say in the days where they come for before, make every person, each and every one of we call the pikin them, the leaders them, whether they diaspora, they outside, encourage them for unite, encourage them for talk, find talk we go make and make all we act together. Divided, we're not going to be strong enough to face the challenges the way they come before we. We don't hear plenty audios where they talk how we boys they face difficulties on ground zero. It shows we need for pay attention. And then when I don't really the years, they don't capture some people the way they be use name for Amber Boys them, they blackmail people there for collect money in the name of Amber Boys. They don't really capture some of them. And they already discover say they never get nothing for do with the Amber Boys, their operations, and so they expose them. We will continue for lead that fight for expose that kind of people the way they bring trouble, because their only intention now for make and say make with people them start check say this, so we Amber Boys they fight now against them. The one and number one. Then again another one we get for do everything possible for provide way it go enable with Amber Boys that for work with, so that they not go find themselves on there in difficulties to the point where they be tempted for start capture the same people that they work for them, so that they go press and take money. We don't hear inside this letter from these ministers and say, Party Ekema Esunge, mayor for Boya, don't receive fresh supply of guns where they receive from Douala Seaport, they can go straight for Boya, and say they don't send other ones for Bamenda for some young people the way they go use them for create trouble. So as a matter of fact, now they don't promise say they go free send you out on the names them, would you wait? But any person who want to engage in those kind of acts, no say you not go run too long, because very soon the same people that they send you out, they will give you your names and we will be able to weed you out, because people that for Southern Cameroonians no ever declare war. Will not be one war. We only defend ourselves, because war don't come with power. I did pray once more, make all we continue for no say the best thing we can move it forward now for stay united. Make we no fight ourselves, make we no kill ourselves. For the soldiers, the way they did for army, now don't hear. So they go multiply the number now, they will send them for war front, but they plan themselves for go kill una. Make una know which decision be wise enough for now for take them. God he did with we.